there are a number of things that should be included in a protocol. There's a lot of, you should say, standard items like an author, a reviewer, signatures. We're not going to go too much into details with those things, but some of the important things are, first of all, a place where we see a lot of customers failing in order to understand what their requirements are, is basically to write down your acceptance criteria. And the reason why this is important is, first of all, we don't know what to test against if we don't know what the acceptance criteria are. So one thing is that you might have a general understanding of what the requirements are for an ambient storage, but you also need to apply your product knowledge. So the products that you store, what thermal mass do they have? How big are they? What temperature ranges are they suited for? That needs to play into role as well. We've seen tons of cases where customers said, well, it should just be an ambient storage and that's it. But auditors love it when you can explain, well, it's ambient storage because we plan to store these and these and these types of products, which are rated for X, Y, and Z. Then you need a good process knowledge. So you need to have a good understanding of how you do your process surrounding storage, basically. But also that means, for example, how often do you plan to open and close your doors? What kind of exposure is there to the outside elements? Do you take in goods that are already thermally at the level where they need to be, or are you using it to freeze in stuff? And then you need to have a really good understanding of your facility or equipment. How does it operate? I think a very good case is like defrosting cycles, something that often comes as a surprise.
Yes, many problems come for that. All the HVAC systems have defrosting cycles, and then we see excursions through them, and sometimes people, they don't expect to see that. So we do need to take them into considerations. And maybe this goes into the accepted excursions, that once you know your product, you can think about the excursions and the type of facility or equipment you want to purchase if you're building one.
Exactly. Yeah. So having a good understanding, like it does not make sense to do an acceptance criteria that is, we can have no excursions if you know you're going to have a defrost cycle, for example. On the other hand, if you know that you have very strict requirements for your process, thereby also your product, well, it also means that you need to purchase certain types of equipment. So this is an example of how such acceptance criteria can look like. It's very simplified, but basically it works that you have a lower limit and a higher limit, and you might also have allowance for shorter excursions, and you can even identify for how long time and for how much excursion there could be. It really depends on how critical your products that you store are and how sensitive they are to time and temperature.